Hi, thanks for clicking on the link. 1 Corinthians 3:7 says that neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything, but only God who gives the growth. The question comes, how are we to faithfully plant and water the gospel, looking to God to provide that growth? Well, over the years, I've talked to a number of youth pastors and youth leaders, and I've seen a growing disconnect between our theology and our methodology. Our theology and what we believe about the gospel and our methodology, what we do in ministry. And so Giving Up Gimmicks is not an exhaustive manual on youth ministry, but simply an age-old approach to looking to God to provide the growth through the means of grace that He has provided His church, specifically ministry of the Word, prayer, the sacraments, gospel-motivated service, and grace in our community. That through these 5 elements that God has given His church, that we simply use these as the soil with which God grows His people. So often, ministry programs today that target teenagers and youth ministries and youth leaders are pursuing a ministry approach I think is dangerous and very unhelpful, that actually steers theology from a success-driven or success-oriented approach to ministry. Instead of looking to what we believe about God and how He works and changes hearts, that He is the one that does that and not us. And so what we wanted to do with Giving Up Gimmicks is to give a plea back to a biblical model of doing ministry. And if you look through the book of Acts chapter 2, one example, where the early disciples, they were devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching and to prayer and to the breaking of bread and fellowship. They were devoting themselves to these things, and they would go out and they would do ministry, and God would provide the increase. He would provide the growth. Another element to this is we firmly believe that teenagers, they have lowered themselves to the low expectations of society. And we believe that teenagers actually want to dive into the rich theology that we believe in the text, the biblical text, and to look for answers on meaning and why did Jesus have to die and why is there suffering and why do we pray. Teenagers want to know these things and want to dig in. So I encourage you to pick up Giving Up Gimmicks. I hope that it will be helpful for you in your ministry in your church. Thanks.